Okay, welcome back. This is NetLab 13. We are creating a vSAN data store, and we have already created quite a bit of the infrastructure, including the distributed switch and the port groups. The next step is to actually add the ESXi host to that distributed switch. So let's go ahead and take care of that now. So to do that, we're simply going to select that vSAN lab distributed switch and add the host to that. So we're going to add manage host. So we've already added or have our 3 hosts ready to add to this. So we'll add the hosts, click next. Now we need to select our hosts, and for this assignment we're using all 3 hosts to make the cluster. We'll click the OK. And we can see all 3 hosts have new hosts have been added. And we'll click next. Our next step is to manage the physical adapters. So we need to add physical network adapters to this distributed switch. So let's go ahead and take care of that now. In order to do that, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and select the VMNIC1 here for the first ESXi host. So we have ESXi host 1. And let me close this up for a second. It might make it a little easier to view this. So if I close this up, here's that ESXi 1. I'm going to expand that, and you'll see that currently there is this one VMNIC that's been assigned to an existing switch on that host. So what we're going to do is use this VMNIC1 here. Now the VMNICs are the physical networks. Even though it says VMNIC, it's a physical network on the host. Might say Intel or Enterasys or something like that on another actual physical host. Everything's virtualized, so it ends up being a VMNIC in the labs. But from practical standpoint in production, you'd see the name of a physical network adapter there. And so we'll go ahead and select that one. And then what we need to do is assign that. So we'll assign uplink. And then we'll use uplink 2, and I think the reason for doing that is just to match it up, since that's the second VMNIC, or the second physical NIC. We're going to assign it to the second uplink. And then to simplify things, we'll apply this uplink to the rest of the hosts, so we don't have to go through this step over and over. Hit the OK, and if you expand each of these, you can see that they've now been assigned. So on this switch, uplink 2 has been assigned. On this switch here, uplink 2 has been assigned. And if we look at the this host here, on this host, on this switch, uplink 2 has been assigned to VMNIC1. So we're good to go there. So we'll go ahead and hit the next button here. So here we're taking a look at managing VM kernel adapters. So the configuration isn't complete because although we've connected an uplink on the switch to the physical NIC on the host, we still need to assign a VM kernel adapter on that host to that switch, but we don't have an additional VM kernel adapter. Each of the hosts only have a single VM kernel adapter that's currently being used for management. So what that means for us is that on each of the hosts, we're going to have to skip the step, and we're going to have to come back and another step after this to add the VM kernel adapters and then connect them to the distributed switch. That'll allow us to make the connection all the way through the uplinks and through the physical NICs. So we're going to leave this alone since we don't have an available VM kernel adapter. So we'll click next here. And then we're not going to be migrating any virtual machine networking from anywhere else. So we don't need any virtual machines or network adapters to migrate to the distributed switch. This would have been a great add-on if we were actually hosting virtual machines on here. But this is for hosting our storage, so there's no purpose to migrating a virtual machine onto here. So we'll skip this and hit the next. And then we just can take a look here and see that we have 3 managed hosts that will be added with 3 physical adapters. We'll hit the finish button here. and we should see the completion. This will take a couple different tasks. You can see they look like they're completing here pretty quickly here. So we're in good shape. Let me expand this up a little bit, and if you take a look here, you can see looks like we have pretty much all of our tasks right here updating the network configuration. So we're good to go on that. All right, that ends this part of the task. So we'll be coming back and adding our VM kernel adapters to the host and doing additional configuration on IPs. I'll see you then.